Well, good morning, Santa Clarita, and I wanted to start off today's update by wishing everybody a happy Passover as we start into this week. So, great news. You may have seen it already on social media or through our traditional media outlet reports that starting this morning at 7 a.m., Santa Clarita had its first mobile testing site open and operating. It is being held at College of the Canyons using their parking structure on the Valencia campus. And it's another great example of a partnership between the city, the college, the county, and our healthcare professionals all coming together to provide this mobile site here in Santa Clarita. It's important to know that just because we have the mobile site, you still must make an appointment and you must be showing signs of have some symptoms and be recommended for the testing. So this is not a general public testing site per se. Again, you must make an appointment and have symptoms. You must also follow the online process that will guide you through making the appointment. Again, if you are high risk, again, it is people who are 65 and older or have underlying health conditions, including diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, chronic lung disease, moderate to severe asthma, or people with compromised immune systems, possibly as a result of cancer treatment, for example. Los Angeles County residents are also prioritized for testing if they are subject to a mandatory 14-day quarantine because you have been exposed to an individual with a confirmed case of COVID-19. So again, if you want to determine your eligibility, please visit the city or the coronavirus.lacounty.org website, and that will help you to guide you. If you do not have access to the internet, you can also get your questions answered by dialing 211, where there are operators able to provide you with assistance. So how the process works, if you are eligible, you will receive a confirmation number or registration number and an appointment time. For the test, you will remain in your vehicle, and there are two types of tests available, either a nasal swab or an oral swab. The nasal swab is administered by either hospital or fire department staff who have been trained, or if you want to use the oral swab, that is self-administered, meaning you will swab your own mouth or throat using the instructions that are provided at the site. The testing process takes very quickly, between 5 and 10 minutes, once you are in the front of the line. Again, you need an appointment to do this, and if you want to determine your eligibility, either visit the county's website or call 211. So where are we currently in Santa Clarita? First, I want to thank, because this is a Facebook Live, I want to thank the Facebook coronavirus community page for providing the slide that you're seeing now that gives a pretty good chart of where we are in Santa Clarita as of yesterday. You can see that we have about 139 confirmed cases with 7 new confirmed cases yesterday. We do have the one known death listed there, and I appreciate putting the asterisk because we do not know the exact residence of the Santa Clarita Transit driver who did pass away last week as a result of the virus. The county only provides confirmation that is a LA County resident and does not give any more specificity of the resident's location. We also have, we know that 14 patients have been hospitalized I believe some of them have also been discharged at this point. I don't have specific numbers. But if you look at the chart, you can see that it appears that at the beginning of the month, we saw a significant jump in confirmed cases. Those numbers seem to be dropping over the last several days. Again, we might see some fluctuation as the mobile testing site gets up and running and more people are getting tested. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that the efforts we're putting in aren't working. It just as more people are getting tested, the likelihood is you will see some jumps over the next several days as the tests become available. But again, it's great news that we have a local testing site here in the city, so people do not have to travel outside to get that mobile test. And again, as you can see, the chart shows, I think it confirms what we're hearing from both the governor as well as county officials and other national officials about California, that our aggressive following of the shelter at home, safer at home ordinance, the utilization of masks and other PPE really are working. And the more aggressively we continue to follow those orders and put them in place, the better off we will be and the quicker we will get out from under it. I did mention the transit driver that we lost last week. Did want to provide an update that there have been additional confirmed cases from MV Transportation, who are the contractors for the city that operate our bus system. They have confirmed that there have been additional positive tests. However, they've assured us that all individuals that have been confirmed are in quarantine and are not interacting with the public. They are in isolation, getting the treatment they need. For our drivers that are currently still stepping up and doing the best they can to ensure that our essential workers are getting to and from work, that our residents are being able to get to and from grocery stores and get their essential services. The city has provided PPE for those drivers. We've also enacted additional cleaning protocols with EPA-approved cleaning supplies and materials. We do encourage, if you have the option, to enter the bus from either the back or the middle entrance and avoid the constant flow in the front entrance, which obviously can impact our drivers. So if the bus does have a back entrance, we encourage you to utilize that. Continue to practice your social distancing when you're seated, and continue to monitor the transit schedule. Due to the low numbers of riders and the decreased number of operators, we have implemented a local Sunday schedule for the foreseeable future. So again, that's going to call for reduced routes, different times. So please check that schedule before you look to get on and utilize our transit services, because those dates and times may change. Lastly, as we know, coming up this weekend is Easter Sunday, and it certainly is a much different circumstance than ever before. And we just want to encourage everyone to use that time, spend it with your family. I know that there will be a community broadcast, I believe at 8 p.m. Carried on our local radio station, KHTS. And that is something that if you want to enjoy with your family, please, you can take advantage of that. I know that I just saw for you opera fans out there that Andrea Bocelli is going to be performing in Milan, I believe at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and that'll be live streamed and carried throughout the world. And that might be something as you're enjoying Easter morning with your families as well. But This is no time and no place for Easter picnics at the city. The city has canceled our annual egg extravaganza. So while the parks and trails we expect to be open as weather permitting, again, that is not a time, does not mean that you can have large family gatherings or large neighborhood gatherings or picnics at our community parks. Those public gatherings are still prohibited. So if you do want to utilize our parks and trail system, please continue to do so as you have been with practicing social distancing, staying in your small family group. So, and then lastly, I know that there has been some confusion in talking with some of my fellow mayors throughout Los Angeles County because there are certain different directives that may be coming from the city of Los Angeles. And I know that I've received, and here at City Hall, we've received calls and inquiries about what that means for Santa Clarita. And please keep in mind that anything that is being directed for the city of Los Angeles is only within the city of Los Angeles. Santa Clarita, from a public health standpoint, we fall under the guidelines of the county Department of Public Health, and so we take our directions from them. I know that in the city of Los Angeles, the mayor has spoken about mandating masks and other PPE when going out in public. While in Santa Clarita and the rest of the county, excuse me, we are not mandating at that point. I don't think we're ready to have 10 million people. I don't believe there are 10 million masks available yet to provide countywide. But certainly if you do have a mask, whether disposable or your own cloth mask, I certainly encourage you to wear it. When I have gone to the grocery store recently, I was wearing my mask and gloves. I see a number of other people in the store doing the same. And I think that's just, if you have access to it, it's the smart, safe thing to do, not only for yourself, but for your neighbors and certainly those who are working at those stores, providing the essential services. It's a great way to provide added protection. So at this point, in the county of Los Angeles, it has not been mandated that masks be worn, but we certainly strongly encourage it if you have one. And if that order changes, we will certainly let everyone know as soon as the order comes down. So with that, I just want to remind everybody that we do have our drive-up mobile testing here in the city. That's something that I know people were hoping to finally have. It's operating at College of the Canyons Valencia campus in their parking structure. The testing's running from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 7 days a week. I believe it's going to be running at least through May 31st. So if you want to be tested and you might have symptoms, please register online or call 211 to obtain your appointment and confirmation number and the time to attend. This is not a public all testing where you can line up and get tested just because you want to feel secure about your status. You have to have some symptoms and be confirmed with a time and a registration number. So again, I want to wish everybody a happy Passover today and a happy Easter for this weekend and a day to enjoy with your family and do your Easter egg hunts and all within your house, within your yard, and enjoy the day as a family. And as more information comes about, we will always, here at the city, make sure that it is posted immediately. So with that, I'm happy to take some questions as we do in all of our updates.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I do want to point out the graph that we use was from the Santa Clarita coronavirus page, but it was actually created by our media partners at The Signal. So we want to thank them for covering this pandemic during this time. Okay, we're getting a lot of questions about masks. Can you clarify again if people should be wearing masks here in Santa Clarita?
Sure. And first, I do want to thank you for clarifying that, and definitely a thank you to our media partners that are doing a great job providing information throughout our community because this is a tough time. It's hard for everyone, the working people working from home, and still being able to get the news out is critical. So, yes, when it comes to masks in Los Angeles County, it is not mandated that masks be worn. However, here in the city of Santa Clarita, I certainly encourage if you have a mask that you wear it when you are going to the grocery store or getting gas or having any other interaction where you may come in contact with other residents. Even if you are maintaining that 6 feet social distancing, it's just that added layer of protection for not only yourself, but for others. And I think it's important also that if you have your own mask, that it is cleaned regularly. If it's a cloth mask that you can wash, that's important as well, that it is continually cleaned to help reduce any potential infection. But again, in the county of Los Angeles, there has been no mandate of the wearing of masks. However, it is strongly encouraged and recommended if you have access to them.
Thank you. Lisa would like to know, will the City of Santa Clarita parks be open Easter Sunday since the county has closed all LA County parks on Easter?
I believe all of our city parks and trails will be open on Sunday, weather permitting. Again, that obviously right now our parks, I believe, are closed because of the rain. But come Sunday, if the weather improves, we expect the parks and trails to be open. But again, that is not to say that any other restrictions have been lifted. You are to enjoy those with your family, maintaining that social distancing on the trails, and that is not the time to have any large picnics or other events at the parks.
Abram wants to know, I need to get tested. Where can I go? Because 2 of my coworkers have the coronavirus and I'm still working.
So again, I think fortunately we have the mobile testing site here in Santa Clarita at College of the Canyons Valencia campus. However, you must either visit the county's coronavirus website page, which I believe is we've put back up on the screen, or you can call 211 to determine your eligibility, obtain a confirmation number, as well as reserve a time for your testing.
Lisa would like to know, what will be the approximate turnaround time for test results from our local site?
The testing is, let me look. So the test time itself is 5 to 10 minutes once you get the testing, but then the results should be 3 to 4 days. So relatively quick, but you won't get the results while you're in line there testing. So they're not immediate, but the county's estimating 3 to 4 days seems to be what we're seeing in other testing sites.
Cindy is asking, I see people wearing masks and gloves while driving alone in their car. Is that necessary?
So I don't think it's necessary if you're by yourself in your car to have the gloves and mask, but I think it's good to have a pair of gloves, and if you have a mask in your car, so that if you need to exit your car for any reason or you have to interact, that you have them accessible. But I believe in your car by yourself, you do not need to have your gloves or mask.
Ryan is asking, the CDC stated not even to go out. Shouldn't you be advising people not to go out on these trails?
So I'm not aware of the CDC recommending that people should not be going out at all. I think what we have seen is being able to go outside, take your dogs for walks, utilize the trail system or parks is a strong component of supporting not only your physical health, but also your mental health. And if the time comes where there is a direction that utilizing these parks or trails is deemed a threat or a danger, we certainly will take the steps to close them. But I'm not aware of the CDC providing any such order to require people to remain in their homes, certainly here in California or LA County.
Michael is asking, are businesses allowed to refuse service if a customer is not wearing a mask or a face covering?
So that is right now in Los Angeles, in the city of Los Angeles, I believe that is the order. The county of Los Angeles has not taken those steps, but I do believe if a business owner has those concerns and you do not have a mask and they ask you to return or leave the store because you don't have PPE, I believe that should be respected as business owners are certainly coming in contact with a large number of the public. So again, that is a city of Los Angeles order, not a county of Los Angeles order.
Okay. What are we doing to make sure our food and groceries are safe to eat?
So at this point, last time I visited my local grocery store, we saw I saw most supply. It felt very normal again, aside from maybe the paper goods and ramen. Those were cleaned out, but everything else was accessible. And I have been assured and have seen from the Grocers Association and others that they continue to take all of the steps and protocols to ensure that the food that is being provided is meeting the same safety standards that that they always have. I certainly would make the same recommendation that you would prior, that if you think something has been tampered with or has been unsealed, then you should not purchase it. Additionally, if you look at those who are handling the food, whether it be at the deli section or a seafood section, all of the grocery store workers I've seen have full PPE on and are doing everything they can to ensure that they're providing that safety. So I think at this point, everything seems to be falling in line with all the safety protocols continuing to be followed.
Okay, we'll take a few more questions, but first, for those who don't know, can you tell us what PPE stands for?
Sure. Personal protective equipment, I believe. So PPE really is your masks, your gloves. If you need face shields, eye shields, that is just the nomenclature has moved it to the acronym of PPE.
Okay, Diego would like some clarification about what safety procedures and policies have been put in place for the employees and passengers at Santa Clarita Transit.
Sure, certainly. First off, all of the drivers now have masks and gloves, so they are first and foremost taking care of those drivers. All the drivers that had been diagnosed are in quarantine. Those who we know came in contact with the drivers that tested positive have also been put in isolation while waiting for any tests. Cleaning protocols continue with EPA approved cleaning solutions. We encourage everybody to board the bus from the back so that you avoid the continual contact with the drivers. And please continue the social distancing when it comes to seating at the bus. Our ridership is down, so there shouldn't be an occasion where the buses are full, and there should be the ability for you to leave rows available in between you and other passengers. But we are continually monitoring, continually checking in with our staff at Santa Clarita Transit, and if we need to make changes, more changes, we will do so.
Thank you. So there's a lot of questions about masks and following the guidelines that LA City put in place. Can you again talk about the difference between LA County and LA City, and also what LA County has been saying about these next 2 weeks being crucial?
So I'll take it in reverse order. Yes, I think we've heard from the president to the governor to our local health officials that starting Monday for the next 2 weeks seem to be a very, very crucial times for our nation and certainly for California in terms of knocking down the curve and moving us into a more positive trend line. And I think California is a little bit ahead of other parts of the nation because of the guidance and the steps that were taken to move to the social distancing and the safer at home programs. And so you're seeing those lines flattening pretty well in California, and we're certainly not facing what other states in the nation are. So for the next 2 weeks, we want to really be aggressive in our social distancing. If you don't need to go out, don't. And if you do, please wear masks, gloves. The order in the city of Los Angeles is now mandating that masks be worn. That is separate from here in Santa Clarita and the other 87 cities in Los Angeles County. We fall under Santa Clarita, and most others fall under the direction of the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, which has not mandated the wearing of masks yet. But we encourage that if you have them, that you do wear them. And if the time comes for the county to mandate to change their direction to a mandate, then we will certainly communicate that. But at this point, we are under the jurisdiction of the County of Los Angeles and their orders.
Thank you. Our last question is from Jamie. She says, this update is great. Will you be conducting more of them more frequently moving forward?
So we'd like to continue to provide updates as key information becomes necessary and important to share. We will certainly do one. We try to do one at least once a week. But if the information warrants more than that, we will do so. But I think this will be our last update for this week, assuming no new orders come out of the county or the state moving forward. But so lastly, I just want to again encourage everybody. I know we're still kind of in the middle of it. And I know it's tough. I'm sure, like many of you that have kids like I do, this is spring break week, and they're probably feeling a little bit restless, a little bit bored, because we've got the rain and don't have the schoolwork that needs to be done. And I certainly can relate with Easter coming up as well. The difficulties and disappointment of not being able to follow our normal routines. But I do have faith that if we continue to follow these orders and aggressively put them in place, we will come out of them. California is definitely leading the nation, and LA County is certainly a part of that. So let's hang together for the next couple weeks in particular that have been targeted as very, very key for the nation. And as long as we stay together, I know we'll get through it. Santa Clarita is no stranger to challenges, and each and every time we have risen to the occasion, and I have no doubt that we will do the same again with this instance. So thank you for your questions. The City Hall remains open, 661-259-CITY, or you can reach out to myself or any of the council members either through email or any of our social media platforms.